Good morning and welcome to the February 3rd, 2021 Walton County Technical Review Committee meeting. I think the first item of business is to review and consider approval of the minutes from January 20. Do we have any corrections to the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes from January 20th as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Excuse me. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Announcements this morning, do we have any, Rachel or Karen? I do have one procedural announcement, just for clarification, and this recently changed in the Land Development Code a few months back. If your project is being continued, you've already posted a sign with today's date on it. If your project is being continued, you're required to update the meeting date and time on your sign for the very next meeting you are continued to. You're also required to provide that affidavit of sign posting to demonstrate that it is update. We made this change to enhance our transparency with the public and to make sure that those in the neighborhoods of these projects get as much notice as the code allows. So appreciate your attention to that. We'll move right into project review. I think item number 2 is the Tanglewood 30A Shops. We have a request to continue to March 3rd Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Motion to continue.
We have a motion. Can we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. The applicant like to make a comment?
Yes, sir. We would, I understand what the issue was that we're waiting for, and I sent you an email about it yesterday. Because this has been in the process for 3 months, we would like to see if we can go to the meeting at the middle of February to move this forward, if that's possible. I know we've got a legal opinion we're waiting on. I understand there's some traction that was made on that yesterday from communications with the applicant's attorney as well as the county attorney.
In the event there are any modifications to the project, that would require resubmittal and time to review that.
Okay.
I'm not sure we can get that done in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Given the large amount of public interest related to this project, I think that March 3rd is the appropriate date. Thank you, Curtis. We have a motion and a second to continue this development application to the March 3rd Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the March 3rd Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. This moves us to agenda item number 3, the Greg Orr portion of Santa Rosa Beach. We have a request to continue to March 3rd to allow for some design changes. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Make a motion to continue the project as stated.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the March 3rd, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 4, the Sunset 30A Fresh Market and Deli. This minor development's been reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could update us on this project.
Yes, good morning. This is a minor development order application submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineers requesting approval to construct a 3,095 square foot commercial building and associated infrastructure on .46 acres with the future land use of residential and zoning of neighborhood infill. Since our last meeting, they've redesigned the project and slightly reduced the size of the building. There are still outstanding comments from planning, environmental, and public works. One of the current big issues is preservation, whether it's required on this site. There is also, we received also quite a bit of public comment, which is included in the staff report. With that, I would request the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So enter.
Unless you all have questions.
Mr. Chair, before we get started on this, I'd like to recuse myself from this project.
So noted. Comments from the applicant?
Curtis Smith, SMITH, Nautilus Civil Engineers. As Tim pointed out, we did significantly revise the site and addressed the comments on the dumpster. We added some additional screening. We added some preservation of the majority of the 25-foot buffer zone along 30A. We reduced the building footprint slightly. Trying to find the site plan here. We removed the parking that was placed on 30A just as previously, just kind of as a benefit to the parking situation around the community. And after some discussion with Public Works and planning, we determined that was probably not in the best interest. So we removed that as well. So the really only substantial comment that I think we had left was the other ones were related to the survey, which we requested the surveyor again to update, and it was a matter of rounding on the survey, so he's going to correct his rounded number there, and then some generalized note about residential that was on a survey. He'll remove that since it's not a residential project. The other comment, of course, was the whether 50% of preservation was required on the parcel, and for that we've asked the environmental scientist to speak on that, and she had revised the report to make some corrections to that, so I'll let her address that.
Thank you, Curtis.
Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Bethany Womack with Cypress Environmental, and we are the we're the company that prepared the environmental assessment report for this project. We initially classified the habitat within the property as scrub, and then we have gone back and looked at the vegetative structure and revised that report that it's actually should be classified as scrubby flatwood. And I provided some information, I don't know if it's made it to you yet, regarding the basis of why we changed that. The vegetative components of scrub and scrubby flatwood are very similar. They have a lot of the same species. If you look in the natural areas inventory beyond the description into the associated communities, it does a good job of describing the differences between communities and its associated communities that you find near or adjacent to the primary habitat, being whether it's pine flatwood or scrub or then you've got there's a transition between those types of habitats, and scrubby flatwood is one of those transitional zones. The associated communities description for scrub specifically differentiates that the scrub differs from scrubby flatwoods in the lack of or low cover of species such as pine, Aristida wiregrasses, which is Arista stricta, and other flatwood species. And the scrub has a nearly continuous cover as opposed to a patchy cover of scrub oaks. And then the same associated community for the scrubby flatwood community specifically says that it differs from scrub in the presence of wiregrass, a greater abundance of saw palmetto, and/or the presence of typical flatwood species such as gallberries and feather bushes. Structurally, it differs from scrub in its lack of a continuous cover of shrubby oaks. The Sunset property does not have a nearly continuous cover of scrub oaks, which is a differentiation between the two. It also has flatwood species, including turkey oak, scattered southern magnolia, and a dense saw palmetto understory. And because of that, the property should have been classified as scrubby flatwood, which is a transitional habitat between the distinct pine flatwood that's to the north, that's closer to 98, and the distinct scrub habitat that's further south in the Topsail property, Topsail State Park property. So we made that change in the report to scrubby flatwood, and provided the updated EA report, and then also provided this basis in writing of why we feel that that was an error in our original report, and it should be classified as scrubby flatwood.
Well, thank you very much. Do you have anything else to offer?
No, sir.
Okay, and those documents have been submitted through the portal?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I will make a comment. The idea that there is nothing else to protect in South Walton because of development has created transition is not one that I'm buying. Our position is we're going to protect Walton County and whatever is left. The fact that we created a environmental assessment that identified something that requires 50% protection, and then when we came back in the middle of the development order process and decided, wait a minute, we can't protect that much because we don't have that much room, right? Just doesn't fly too well with the public.
I understand that, and like,
I also understand that our environmental staff is in disagreement with the revised environmental assessment, and I would suggest we cannot resolve it here today. We'd be happy to meet with your consultant, you as a consultant, you as the agent, our environmental staff to further review this, but I will just tell you right now, as the planning director, I will not accept that this site is in transition because of development along 38. We just aren't going to do that. We'd be happy to meet with you and further discuss it, but I can't accept this on its face.
okay, well, we would like that opportunity then.
And that is the due process that we will move forward with.
Thank you. My name is Riley Palmer, representative of the owner of the property, and addressing this. You know, many times as we've gone through this process, we understand that people make mistakes. Y'all have made mistakes and come back on other projects and said, hey, we think it's this, not that. And in this case, it's clearly the case. How do you resolve when you have a biologist and an expert in the area resolve it, and then you have someone on the the county staff, and I don't know if they're a biologist or not, I don't know
Yes,
the
they
difference.
are.
How do you work at resolving two professional people that say, hey, I think it's this, I think it's that? Is it that we provide a third opinion, or what do we do to work through that to resolve the issue, whether it is or is not?
You may be able to appeal our determination to the Board of Adjustment. I mean, that would be if we make an administrative decision that is not in your favor, that is your due process. You can file an appeal of that administrative decision with the Board of Adjustment.
So what you're suggesting now is that we have the two meet and see if they can come to some resolution. If they don't have a resolution, our only option is appeal. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other items we want to discuss on this particular project?
Yes, I need to also just clarify, one of the comments was the only other substantial planning comment was regarding the site data table indicating white parking spaces. We indicated 0.1 times the required number of parking instead of 0.1 times the total number of parking. So it's going to increase from 2 to 3, but we actually provided 9 bike parking, so we're well over that amount. There was a stormwater-related comment, and it was just a misunderstanding of the software, how inputs are made in the software. I actually emailed Andrea Ward last night, who I believe was the reviewer. Her name wasn't stated on the letter, but last time we met, you stated she reviewed it. I do recommend that, anybody that reviews these, put their name there so we know who to contact whenever we need to discuss items like that. So I emailed her last night about that, and we'll provide a written response just to document as well on the portal about it. So other than that, the only the Public Works comments that were here were actually just holdovers from the last time. I'm not sure if those actually got re-reviewed by Public Works. Maybe Anna can speak to that, but the comments I saw in the report were the old ones.
Hey Curtis, yeah, the staff report has our old Public Works comments. We have sent, I think Andrea has uploaded our comments with hers. We have two pretty minor comments regarding a culvert under the proposed crosswalk on the east side of 38 and providing some high visual crosswalk signage. I can forward those to you, make sure you have them.
Okay. Crosswalk signage, was that, I believe we put the detail for the Public Works Standard 38 crosswalk on this drawing set. Is the signage something you want in addition to that standard detail?
I can take a look back at it again, but I believe when we reviewed it, we were looking for the high visual fluorescent yellow-green, and I'm not sure if that was called out or not. If it was, we missed it, but
Okay.
if you could point that back out to us, but that's what we were looking for ultimately.
Okay. And I'm not seeing those comments from Public Works, the new comments, so I'll have to review those. That was it?
Thank you, Curtis. Given that we need to schedule a meeting to accommodate the request to meet to resolve the differences of professional opinion and the environmental assessment of the vegetative community on this site, I'm going to suggest we continue this to March 3rd to give us time to schedule that meeting and to hopefully resolve differences. And if there's any resubmittal necessary related to that, that would provide enough time to accommodate that and the review of same. I mean, that is my recommended motion. We'll entertain a motion at the dais.
So moved.
We have a motion to continue to March 3rd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Can we have a second? We have a motion. Can we have a second? Crystal trying to speak to us?
Oh, that's right, that's all right.
I'll second.
We have a second by Donna. Thank you, Donna. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the March 3rd, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. This moves us to item number 5, the Bella Rosa Apartments. This is a major development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you can update us on this one.
Yes, thank you. This is a major development application submitted by Avcon requesting approval to develop a 151-unit apartment complex and associated infrastructure on 13.23 acres with the future land use of mixed use and conservation residential and a zoning of village mixed use in CR 2-1. We had met with the applicant since our last meeting. They've redesigned the project based on our previous comments and that meeting. However, that new information was just uploaded to our system, so the comments in the current staff report do not reflect that new submittal. With that, I'll request that the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant, but there's comments in the staff report from the previous submittal that we received, but since they just uploaded new information, that is not reflected in my staff report, but I'll turn it over to the applicant so she can update us.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes, we have met with staff and have been working to ensure that we revise the site plan to accommodate the previous comments. And based on our conversations with you, we have incorporated those revisions. There are 2 Public Works comments that are still outstanding, and I'm working to get a meeting with Anna and Chance to discuss that. It was about the cross-access and then just exactly what they would like for the signal analysis. We've added signalization and a small portion to our traffic analysis, but I want to see how much detail they need for that and just to see if that was adequate. So we're supposed to be meeting today to discuss that. We have a surplus of parking, so if we need to go ahead and add that cross-connection, we'll be removing 4 parking spaces at the entrance on 98 to do so, and that should not be a problem because we have a surplus of parking. Well, we have a surplus with the allowable reductions because we have parking in the rear. The reductions will allow us to get rid of those 4 spaces if we need to. But I think once we talk with Chance, Chance and I just have not had a chance to discuss this. But the cross-connection just won't be really beneficial because of the fact that we have gates at both access points.
Okay. It sounds like we've addressed the major issues we had before. We have a few more items to work out. This will be going to Design Review Board. We're planning to go to DRB in March.
Yes, sir.
Tim, do we think this is far enough along to move it forward subject to satisfaction of comments?
A few outstanding DRB comments, so I would say yes from the scenic corridor. On the TRC side, I'm not sure because Bill hasn't seen the new plan. Public Works hasn't seen the new plan, but there was only 2 or 3 outstanding scenic corridor comments, so I think we could move forward with that.
I'm comfortable that we've addressed the major concerns that I had at the last PRC. This is a major development, but we'll take just a moment to see if anyone in the audience wishes to make a comment or ask a question about this particular development. Anyone in the audience, raise your hand, or on Zoom, raise your hand. Seeing none in either location, we'll entertain a recommended motion, Tim.
Being that it appears we have resolved most of the outstanding comment, the big issues, I recommend that we go ahead and approve it and move it forward to the Design Review Board.
We have a recommended motion to conditionally approve subject to satisfaction of comments and move forward to Design Review Board. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the Design Review Board on March 4th. This brings us to item number 6, the Eden's Landing PUD Amendment number 3. This is a major development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce this for us.
Yes, thank you. This is a major development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering requesting approval to amend the previously approved Eden's Landing PUD in order to add 32 additional single-family lots on 15.35 acres with the future land use of mixed use and conservation and a zoning of traditional neighborhood development and conservation. One of the big issues with this is the conservation. It measures out to be just under 1 acre, 0.99 acres, and the conservation does not allow for residential development. However, they're using both the area for lots and they're using it for density purposes. Planning has quite a number of outstanding comments, but they're mostly related to the T&D because T&D requires additional or has additional requirements that some of our other zoning districts do not have. But there are also outstanding comments from environmental and from floodplain and I guess that's it. Environmental and floodplain. So with that, I'll request that the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Tim. So entered.
Good morning, I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering, and as Tim presented, the majority of the comments are related to the requirements, and we're amending the PUD that's there that has a lot of those components, and I have discussed this with Tim, and we're going to provide a table that'll further clarify how we meet those requirements, and I think that'll take care of the majority of the comments. The one item on the conservation area, it's our understanding from the property owner, which are the foremans, that item has been discussed with Walton County, and as you can tell just by the map, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's just centered in the property, kind of not against or adjacent to a property line. It's kind of in the center, and our understanding is that was a Scribner's error. So just wanted to share that with you all. I don't certainly want to obviously get your opinion on that if that's your understanding as well, if you were in that meeting, and just get clarification on that.
I don't think I was in that meeting.
Okay.
And it's not familiar to me. certainly open to further discussing that, but that's been discussed with the county attorney. We'll get with her and understand what that is, but I'm not familiar with that particular meeting.
Okay. And, I mean, it just, obviously looking at it, it doesn't make sense where it's located, but I understand it's something we need to address, and just wanted to share what my understanding was, and, you know,
I agree, it looks very unusual, but it's not tiny either, so. We will get with our county legal staff and see if we can better understand that. But since it is on the map, and we don't have that understanding completely through planning yet, it appears that we need to continue the project.
Okay.
Here's my suggestion. This has to go to Planning Commission, subject to resolving that conservation parcel issue. Do you see any concern with being able to meet all of those requirements and resubmit in time for us to have it reviewed for March 3rd?
I do not, because like I said, it's just a clarification on how we meet the T&D requirements. That's the majority of the comments, and I think then that would allow us to meet on this conservation item as well.
Let me suggest that we continue this to the March 3rd TRC, with the understanding that we'll go ahead and advertise for Planning Commission in March.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And that we will have all of these issues resolved in time to meet both those deadlines.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion at the dais to continue this item to the March 3rd, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting.
Motion to continue.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Donna. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the March 3rd, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 7, the Bay Grove Motor Lodge and Food Court. This is a minor development review by Tim Brown. Tim, if you can briefly introduce it to us.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor developmental application submitted by Quantum Engineering Group requesting to develop 18 modular homes, 6 food trucks, and associated infrastructure on 2.22 acres with the future land use of commercial and a zoning of general commercial. There's currently outstanding comments from planning, engineering, public works, floodplain manager, a lot of comments from the health department concerning the food and the mostly the food trucks, but also the modular homes as well. With that, I will request the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Tim. So entered.
Just good morning. My name is Izel Bengozi. I'm the engineer of record on this project, and there was a couple of major issues that pertains to the FDOT, or one issue mainly, which is the access driveway. During the construction or before the construction of 331, the state agreed with the previous owner to buy right away in exchange for putting a driveway, and it's been recorded in the courthouse. We are in the process of applying for a permit with the DOT, and the DOT initial response was, we are committed to it, we're going to approve it. So just to reduce the traffic from that turn lane on 331, because it does exist, or it does open on turn lane on 331, we are proposing another exit on State Avenue to reduce the traffic. And we did like midnight drawings. We just and we move the dumpster this way, it will reduce the traffic from exiting on 331, put it on State Street. By this, it's going to reduce the traffic maybe a minimum of 25%. And the DOT, they are in agreement with that, and getting the permit within a week or less. A few issues regarding the dumpster and the ADA requirements. We are proposing a sidewalk from the handicap all the way to the food trucks. This way, the ADA will have an access to the food trucks. Another issue is the turnaround. A vehicle by unit number 18 can make 3-point turn, and they can return back to the 24 feet wide driveway, plus the parking is 20 feet, so they can make that turn with no issues. I think that's about the major issues that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any issues from the health department. So as soon as I see them, we can address them as needed.
Thank you, Yazzie. I'm going to make a couple of statements here, and I appreciate your responses to those comments. But I'm going to be quite honest, and it's going to be painful. When Ms. Bottoms met with our staff and discussed this project, she was intending to create a sense of place, a real destination, something that would be really cool, adjacent to the county park that taxpayers have spent millions of dollars developing. This is not it. Now, and I'm not commenting on the engineering part of it. What I'm commenting on is the project itself. This is not the project she shared with me, and this is not an engineering comment at all. But I can't approve this as a minor development, and if this is what you want to bring forth, because of the sensitivity of the location adjacent to our county park, I'm inclined to make this a major development.
Sure, and even we spoke about it. I mean, like yesterday, that is going to be aesthetically pleasing. It's going to be landscaped. It's going to be. They're going to use the bricks the bricks sidewalk, so it will be aesthetically pleasing. I'm not sure what's going to take to make it to your standards. Just let us know. We'll do it.
And that may be our problem. Just the concept as laid out before us is not one I feel comfortable moving forward and having to drive by for the rest of my life as we go by this park. And we probably need to meet before we move forward and do anything,
Sure, we can
spend any
meet
more
and-
money on this project, because if this is what we want to bring forward, then I will make it a major development, and the Board of County Commissioners will make the final decision on what goes next to the park that they developed. Because I can't bring this.
Sure, I do agree
This
with you.
cannot be approved at my level.
We can meet, and we'll try to meet your standards. We'll do our best to meet your standards to.
Be happy to meet about it, but this is not the quality of development that needs to go next to a multi-million-dollar public park.
Sure, we'll meet, and if you set up the meeting, we'll meet.
I also have great concern about an additional curb cut on US 331. But yes, suffice to say, I'm not happy with what we've been offered. I'll be happy to meet with you and further discuss it, but If we want to move this forward, you can respond to the comments, and I'll make it a major development, and we'll get extensive public hearings on this at Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. But this is not a project that I want to put my name on.
Sure, we'll discuss
And I
it further.
apologize for having to say that, but I just can't see putting that there in this context. Be happy to meet with you sometime next week on this to see how we can move forward.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to entertain a motion to continue this to the March 3rd TRC meeting to give us an opportunity to meet in the meantime. I'll entertain that motion.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we continue this project as stated.
We have a motion to continue to March 3rd TRC. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to March 3rd, TRC at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And we can get together and schedule a meeting in the meantime. Thanks, sir. This will move to item number 8, the Retreat Community Pool Renovation. It's minor development review by Bob Baronti. Bob, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. As you stated, this is a major development order application submitted by Timothy McNamara on behalf of the Retreat of South Walton County Homeowners Association Incorporated, requesting to reconstruct their community pool and associated infrastructure. We have the new acreage instead of the whole subdivision. It's 1.03 plus or minus acres, with the future land use of mixed use in the zoning district of traditional neighborhood development. The applicant and I have been working together. There are a number of copies, or a number of issues and format requirements that needed to be made. The agent is on Zoom, and we agreed to continue this project for a complete resubmittal up until the March 3rd TRC.
Is that your recommendation, Bob?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I've been working with Mr. McNamara, sending him examples and stuff, and we're working diligently to get it all straightened up. And hopefully we'll have very minor, if any, comments left after the resubmittal to bring it back for consideration.
We have a recommended motion?
Yes.
We have a motion at the dais.
Can I enter the staff report in the record?
Entered, yes, sir.
Bob Baronti.
Mr. Chair, I move that we for this project forward as presented by Bob there. Or did he? Continue, I'm sorry, not move forward. I recommend that we continue. I make a motion that we continue this project as stated by Bob.
To March 3rd.
March 3rd.
TRC.
Yes,
At
sir.
8:30 a.m. in this location.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second, or do we have a second? Yes, we need a second.
Second.
Second by
Second.
Crystal. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to provide an opportunity to satisfy outstanding comments to the March 3rd, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Bob. That moves us to item number 9, the DSAP 1 Residential Subdivision Phase 1A. Rest approved by minor development order and reviewed by Renee. Renee, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is the minor development order application submitted by Innerlight Engineering Corporation on behalf of the St. Joe Company. They're requesting to develop 115 single-family lots in Phase 1A of the DSAP. This will be the first project in there. This is on 25.31 plus or minus acres. Future land use of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center and zoning of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center. We'll be located on the north side of US Highway 98, basically at the end of Watersound Parkway where the roundabout is. We do have some outstanding comments. We have comments from engineering. Floodplain manager has some comments. Our environmental has comments, as well as I do. We've also received comments from Ms. Doggett from the school board, which is basically no mitigation needed for the school board at this time on this phase. I'm still pending fire department comments. I hadn't received them as of the time of this report. There's none of these comments that I see that are really major comments that can't be responded to. At this time, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Renee, and for the record, I'm David Smith with Innerlight Engineering, and I agree with Renee. I know there's a few minor comments, but we can absolutely respond to these, and the majority of them are just providing like summary, like drawdown table, which we've been working on, and we'll definitely have that. So, yeah, everything else is minor, and we can address them, and we would respectfully request to move forward, please.
Thank you, David. Any comments from anybody on the TRC? This is a minor development, so we'll take the opportunity to open a public hearing. Anyone in the audience or on Zoom wish to make a comment about this particular application? Seeing none in the audience or on Zoom, we'll close the public hearing portion of this. Renee, do we have a recommended motion?
I'd like to move this forward, but also like to put staff report in record, please.
So entered. Move it forward, subject to satisfaction of the outstanding comments.
Yes, sir. Development order, so.
Okay, we have a recommended motion to move this to development order, subject to satisfaction of all of the outstanding comments.
Excuse me.
We have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of all outstanding comments. That appears to conclude our agenda this morning. Thank you all very much. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Second, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carried.